The government DEFRA has outlined several forms of helping farmers make more sustainable agriculture called SFI, Sustainable Farming Incentive. We propose working with a new SFI called Engagement to help make the countryside more open to the public, accessible, and to be the part of our daily lives. We will outline how this document and recommendations would look like and complement it with digital tools that can maximize its impact by helping public engagement, education, and community use of the open space. We take Greenbelt in Buckinghamshire as a case study due to its proximity to London and its inherent roles as a sensible green space. Due to the accumulation of British rural culture and the influence of the concept of Harvard Garden City, the Greater London Regional Planning Committee proposed the concept of Greenbelt as early as 1990. Due to the economic depression, the Greenbelt was only a proposal and concept. After 1938, the Greenbelt began to develop. The function of the Greenbelt has evolved over time. From the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, the function of the Greenbelt was clarified to prevent the mixing of industrial and residential areas. Later, before the end of the Second World War, entertainment needs began to emerge. Currently, the most important function of the Greenbelt is to stop urban sprawl. The Greenbelt has been controversial at present due to population growth and housing pressures. Organizations and academics working which protect the Greenbelt argue that it protects the character of the countryside, and research shows that it does prevent urban sprawl but does not do much to protect species diversity and climate change, and that because of the very restricted use of the Greenbelt, management and ownership is confusing, leading to poor access, and as the Greenbelt accounts for a relatively large amount of agricultural land, much of it private farms do not provide sustainable food production for Brexit. Moreover, Greenbelt land is hardly accessible even to the locals. It is no surprise that local children hardly visit it. The facilities on the farms are not rich, and even some of them are difficult to get in touch with, since all properties are fenced and closed off with only a fraction of it open to the public via a limited right-of-way system. Thus, we hope that the farms in the Greenbelt will be involved in improving the ecology and accessibility of the Greenbelt. The Sustainable Farming Incentive is the first of UK's new environmental land management schemes. Through this scheme, the government will pay farmers to produce public goods such as water quality, biodiversity, animal health and welfare, and climate change mitigation, alongside food production. SFI allows farmers to choose the extent and type of land to participate in the scheme by dividing the land into different categories such as arable, grassland, and forest land, and setting different management and rehabilitation criteria. SFI also provides technical support to help farmers meet the criteria to get subsidies. SFI also addresses aspects such as how to increase ecological connectivity within the habitat and flood management through planting, while the government has put forward ideas to improve the ecological environment within the Greenbelt. To date, over 900 farms have applied for SFI, with 90% of those passing the SFI criteria, including one successful pilot farm called Kensham in the Greenbelt. Based on various conditions, we concluded that there is a potential for SFI development within the Greenbelt, and analyzed the Buckinghamshire area where the pilot farm is located. After we have looked at qualifications for SFI and the current situation of farms in Buckinghamshire and found that many farms are eligible to be involved in SFI. This is a map of Buckinghamshire. We found that ecological connectivity within this area is currently poor. We calculated the ecological corridor through Circlescape, connecting the two largest habitats in this region. On this basis, we found all the schools and farms within the ecological corridor and analyzed the radius of 1 kilometer and 1.2 kilometers for each school and farm. As the accessibility of students is high within this range and the radius of the farm covers almost all the areas we want to transform. Within the Buckinghamshire, almost all secondary roads are inaccessible to the surrounding plots. Most of these plots are privately owned and are surrounded by trees or shrubs to obstruct people, making it difficult to even see inside in many cases. At the same time, we went to the farm Summerbourne, which is located in Buckinghamshire, where farmer Simon showed us the animals that are part of the Duke of Edinburgh curriculum, where students come to volunteer or plant trees as part of the course. The animals are all retired from their jobs and lived here. We were surprised to find that this is not a traditional farm where agriculture is the main source of income. This is a farm where money is made entirely from engaged visitors. We interviewed the farmer. Simon was very conscious of the ecology and animals, and was very happy to see children come and learn about the nature, but when it comes to the SFI, Simon didn't know much about it and wasn't very interested. In addition to the fact that some farmers have never been aware of farm subsidies and various farming schemes, the aging of farm owners in general, and the fact that many farms are at risk of closure due to being confined to traditional business models, many farm owners want to make some changes to their farm. SFI is currently a very immature policy and does not engage the group, but Summerborn is a farm that shows us a new possibility for farm development. Through SFI, we hope to engage farmers and others to make sustainable agriculture more important to farmers through government subsidies, to include educational implications for the next generation, and ultimately to improve connectivity and accessibility by increasing the number of farmers and local students attracted to SFI, just as other organizations and institutions have done. This is our engagement section of the SFI. We have based our grading and subsidy development on the existing ecology SFI. We have made a general preview of the farms in the Greenbelt, dividing them into 5 types, for which different funding is provided. The criteria for participation also differed between farm types. The farms can be visited in 4 ways: for families, schools, carrier visitors, and open spaces. Farmers can choose the type of participation they want for their farms in our engagement whiteboard designed for SFI. For farmers that are already engaged, there is an option to upload and share their experiences. For family and casual visits, farmers are subsidized on an hourly or daily basis. For school visits, the farmer needs to communicate with the teacher to confirm the content of the field trip and the student's route for travel. Students can also play farm games based on actual farm designs in advance. Open space requires the farmer to upload accessible paths, parking locations, and the security status, in addition to the fact that the farmer is not allowed to occupy the land for the duration of the contract. After registration, the location will appear on Google Map as a layer facility for all visits. SFI staff and farmers need to communicate to improve the security of the site. Farmers will get a certain amount of government subsidy for participating in the different levels. After reading the SFI document, users can apply on the government website, which is the application site for the SFI engagement section. At the beginning, the website will prompt to create and submit an SFI application. Make sure you have either business details full permission or BPS submit permission. The first steps requires the users to check the details of the land. After associating their SBI number, the users will be able to see the basic information about their land. In the second step, the user needs to confirm the type of the farm, the time they want to participate, the type of visit they want to take part in, and the length of the time the visitor can stay on the farm. Here we use arable farm as an example. The user has chosen a half-day visit for schools from May to August. In the third step, the user can select their wishes for facility improvements, volunteer help, and so on. This will determine whether the SFI platform needs to match the farmer with the appropriate organizations. Based on the information provided by the farmer, the website will generate a reference price for the funding that can be obtained in a year. This concludes the SFI engagement section of the application. The government staff will then make an appointment with the farm manager to inspect and communicate with them based on the basic farm information in preparation for the subsequent creation of the farm website. Based on the criteria we developed for SFI engagement, we designed a website for farmer. We have created a sample SFI website for Buckinghamshire. There are all the farms within the corridor.
Hi, I'm Joey, farm owner of Road Farm, and I'd like to sign up for an SFI engagement account and get involved. Let me see where I can open up to the general public and what are their main business. Next, I will need to upload the internal features of the farm, such as the location of entrance and exits. These areas are used for growing crops, where grazing takes place, storage areas, etc. In the next part, I need to upload the facilities in my farm. Oh, this is a space I can reserve for visitors to rest, and it can be a first aid room, I think. I think if there is a space reserved for children to play, all the facilities need to be improved for children. And I also have issues in the farm, such as floating areas, need to be discussed and uploaded to the website. The safety of visitors, I think, some places need to be highlighted. And the document site, only after participating in the SFI eco-renovation will it become a safe area for people to enter. Well, agriculture issues such as monoculture and poor soil, I think can be explained to visitors as part of the teaching. Yes, I have finished the upload and selected parts of the farm I want to improve. In the end, I just had to communicate with the teacher and have the teacher fill in the ideal tour for the students to generate a tour route. The routes for the different tour types are generated. I select these materials from a library of elements provided, and I also uploaded my own farm elements. Wow, a 3D model of the SFI involved in my farm is formed. I will show the model to children and teachers to attract them to visit my farm.
After successful completion of Joy's registration to entice children to visit real local farms, our researchers have also created a game based on a real map of Buckinghamshire. Our scheme can be explained by proposing specific reference cases. Because based on the real map of Buckinghamshire ecological corridor obtained from the previous analysis of ecological connectivity, we extracted one of the ecological corridors. Analyzing all the farms, markets, and rivers covered by this ecological corridor and summarized them into our participatory analysis. Among these farms, we selected Road Farm Countryways, a medium-sized comprehensive farm for specific soil, ecological, agricultural, and production chain analysis. In order to increase public participation and attract children, we designed a game called Neverland Ranch. In the game, we extract the base form of elements in the ecological corridor to form a simplified game scene. The forest, farm, market, and river in the game scene correspond to reality one by one. Each farm corresponds to the real farm and inherits the characteristics of the real farm, such as ecological environment, animal habitat, and agricultural production. In our game, the player is a farm owner who develops and manages his farm and contributes to the community by planting, recording, trading, cooperating, and more. And the player can see the real photos corresponding to all the things in the game, which are uploaded by the farmers to the web page. As well as increasing participation, we show the requirements of existing SFI for ecology, agriculture, and management in real life through this game. After entering the game, players can challenge different types of farm transformations. You can choose any farm you are interested in to start the game. User makes agriculture decisions and accesses real infrastructure and assets that can be retrieved during the game, and which will be later visited. While the game layout is simple and child-friendly, context information is constantly being fed to the player to maximize its understanding of the place. Players make their first harvest on the farm through traditional farming methods such as weeding and watering. As the number of planting increases, the player will have to face soil problems caused by over-cultivation. Butterflies will come to the farm and surprise the player when they unlock different mixes of crops to grow. Harvested products will be stored in warehouses and silos, which correspond to the infrastructure provided by the farmers. However, products that have been piling up in storage for a long time are at risk of expiring. Players need to sell their produce at the market stalls in good time. All products for sale are not subject to any quality restrictions. If players find it time-consuming to sell their products in the marketplace in person, then an agricultural cooperative might be a better option. When the player joins the farming cooperative, the cooperative will send out regular orders for organic products, which means that the player will need to produce products that meet the standards. At the same time, the connection between the farm and the community depends, and the player will trigger random storylines with the residents in the community. The farm will contain large areas of uncultivable moorland. The player explores this seemingly unproductive moorland to discover the value of hidden public goods. Exploring the woodland, players will meet trapped wildlife and work with neighboring farms to build ecological corridors to help the wildlife passing through. Moreover, players can identify and record information about vegetation, wildlife, rivers, and historical sites in the woodland. Once collected, players can help build a new museum for the community and bring more community activities in the residents. We use games to attract children to participate in farm activities. After children have a preliminary understanding of the farm in the game, they will go to the real site. Each farm in this ecological corridor has different characteristics. Some are rich in vegetation, and some are farms for raising livestock. Children can choose whatever they want. Taking road farm as an example, after the communication between teachers and farmers, the tour route will be determined. The children will see the activity map of the actual site. We have carried out a series of accessibility transformation and provided our envisaged activity plan. We simulated the scenes of children visiting Road Farm countries after the transformation of this farm and made an access video. During the visit, children can take photos and upload real photos to the website with Apple Watch. When the children arrive at the farm, they will find that the facilities here are very complete, not only the toilet and the deposit place, but also the emergency clinics for children in case of accidents. All areas will be guided by signs, and the farm also provided teaching areas and catering areas. From there, children can log into their Apple Watch account. Afterwards, when the children walk to the inner farmhouse, they will see many kinds of livestock. They can touch and feed them. While on the watch, children can also see the types and the features of these livestock. According to the communication between teachers and farmers, the farm has planned visiting routes. Children can take part in different activities by tractor. The first area they will arrive is the once cultivated area. At present, the soil quality is barren. Children can study the soil conditions in different restoration and plant characteristics to help the interplanting improve the soil. Then the children will arrive near the river Mistborn, which is an area with potential flood hazards to learn about flooding. There are many railings to prevent children from approaching. Children play by the river under the guidance of watch, whether the flood waters recede or not. Next stop is forest, where children can enter. Here, children will learn about the fragmentation of animal habitats and the crisis of forest laws. They can track small animals by uploading photos taken by watch and observing wildlife in a tree that they choose. After leaving the forest, children will arrive at the farmland, where they can learn about the types and planting methods of crops. They will also pass the vegetable field. Here, children can help farmers harvest and tidy up vegetables to understand the industrial chain of food production and sales. Finally, the children return to the central grassland area of the farm. Children can rest and have a picnic or help the farmers to grow flowers or trees to improve habitat connectivity. In addition to planning children's visit to the farm, we also hope to have more open spaces for the public. In our SFI, we encourage farmers to open up areas that can be freely visited as open green spaces for people to enjoy by introducing public goods and a corresponding subsidy policy. In our open space manual for farmers, we divide open spaces into 3 categories based on landscape type: meadows, clearing woodlines, and riverbanks, and show farmers in detail how to make these areas more visitable by simple operations such as cutting grass, pruning trees, and stacking logs. After uploading information about the location of the entrances to these areas on the previously registered website, the farmer selects the type of landscape that corresponds to this area, and the website provides a template of the corresponding tips for the farmer to choose and modify. The farmer compiles the information he wants visitors to view and note, and the website automatically generates the QR code and a manual for operating the open space. The farmer simply places the QR code at the entrance to the open space, and visitors can scan it to find out all the relevant information. Scanning the QR code before entering the open space will give visitors access to a wealth of information about the area. Besides tips from the farmer, visitors are given clear information about the location of services such as car parks and the recommendations for trips to surrounding farms. Visitors are encouraged to help improve the welfare of wildlife in the area by posting photos of wild animals. If people come across orphaned animals, we offer a range of advice on how to help them and contact details for animal protection organizations. For those wishing to feed wildlife, we have introduced safer ways to feed and launched a campaign to donate to build feeders together. People can check the number of angles in use, the number of animals they have helped, and the durability of the feeders they have helped to build. To make the experience better for both farmers and visitors, farmers can post volunteer and job opportunities to help those in need, while also alleviating labor shortages during busy periods on the farm. The real-time feedback panel allows the farmers to have a clear idea of how to manage their open spaces by efficiently consolidating suggestions from visitors on parking, accessibility, and environmental health. Taking the Road Farm countries as an example, visitors can walk 5 to 10 minutes into the farm's open spaces according to the app's map. For example, in the different types of open spaces of 20 × 20 meters, visitors can do different activities. Depending on the type of open space, the recommended time of year for entering the open space varies. Open spaces not only offer visitors the convenience of independent visits, but also offer farmers new possibilities for a farm operation models with less work and more farm visits. After a series of research and visits, we have settled on the SFI policy of engagement, which not only brings attention to the farm but also opens up new possibilities for farmers and improves a range of ecological issues on top of this. Simple tours and engagement are not enough to attract attention, but the addition of games can add interest and make it more enjoyable for children. Children and visitors can also spend time with nature at a time with high urbanization, get to know the farm in its truest and most beautiful form, and find the most pristine beauty in the still clad city.